recovery doesn't start tomorrow. Recovery starts right now. Here to help, it's Rated R for Recovery.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rated R for Recovery. Our website is ratedrforrecovery.com. You can email us with your comments and questions at info@ratedrforrecovery.com. You can hear us on the Facebook, right?
The Facebook, love it.
Yeah. YouTube, iTunes, and thanks to Captain Brian at Captain Brian's Off the Hook Comedy Club on Marco Island. You can hear us on podcastcafelive.com. I'm an alcoholic that doesn't drink, I'm a drug addict that doesn't use, and I am a dead man that walks among the living, and that's by no righteous deed of my own, and my name is Fletch.
Hey, Fletch. I'm just a singer in a rock and roll band. I'm just a girl that can't say no, and I'm just another bozo on the bus. My name's Joy Thomas.
And good evening to our studio audience. Make some noise so people know that you're actually here.
We love it. Love the audience.
Each week we do a show focused on all things recovery. And what that means, ladies and gentlemen, is that everyone, and I mean everyone, has and this is the emotional part sometimes for me, everybody has a mother, a father,
brother,
a sister. Huh?
Brother, sister.
Brother, sister, aunt, uncle.
Cousin.
Co-worker. Neighbor. Niece, nephew, that has been affected by alcohol and drug abuse. Amen? Yeah?
Amen.
Right? Everybody agree? Okay, all right. The front row said yes, but nobody in the back said yes. All right. So because the addict or alcoholic suffers, because the families suffer, and because we've suffered, is why we're here. And that's what we do. We try to focus on the solution of how you stay clean and sober, the focus on the solution of what you've done to heal from a hurt, habit, or hang-up, depending on what that it is. And without any further ado, by the way, we are broadcasting live each and every Thursday night from Studio 7 Cafe and Coffee Company, located here on Del Prado Boulevard in Cape Coral, Florida. We are broadcasted all over the world. I don't know if you know that. We are
worldwide.
Worldwide broadcast. Tonight's special.
World Wide Web.
We've been asked to announce the special.
I love that.
Why don't you do that? Okay.
All right,
so this is Joy, and we have special food tonight for special people.
We are live at Studio 7 Cafe and Coffee Company. Tonight's special is the Studio 7 sandwich for $5. I know! Famous 7 sandwich served on fresh ciabatta bread, ham, turkey, or roast beef, your choice of cheese, 7 ingredient sauce, the secret sauce.
There's always a secret sauce.
Or the barbecued pork sandwich for $4. Fergione's homemade barbecue pulled pork sandwich on a sweet brioche bun. Ooh.
Okay. Now, you know, the minute you started talking about food, there was a gentleman in the front row who immediately got up and went and ordered something to eat.
Love it.
And every time, for some reason, when we do this show, Troy always has a sandwich. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't notice, but I can make this sound really sexy. I can do way better next time.
Okay.
All right.
You did fine this time.
Okay.
Our first guest is a friend of both of ours, and we've known her for however long she's been around, and she has a story for herself, and now her life is dedicated to helping women, and her name is Carrie Ann. Everybody give a nice round of applause for Carrie Ann. Now, Carrie Ann, thanks for coming on the show. When we were on K-Rock, you were a guest on the show, and basically we're going to talk about the same thing. What were you like, Carrie Ann?
Okay. All right. Well, how bad it got? What I was like?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was a straight A student, graduated with an honors 4.0, went to college to play basketball on a basketball college scholarship.
And she was good.
Yeah, that's what they said. But then, and I was also going to be a doctor. I was going to college for that. So drugs really didn't play a role in my life other than my parents did a lot of drugs, and I didn't want anything to do with that. So I got in high school, and all that pressure of being this straight A student, this prodigy child, this athlete, it got a lot of pressure, and I took Xanax for the first time and fell in love. All that pressure in my life just subsided, and I chased that high for many, many years. I went to college, in Miami and from Philadelphia, and the drugs got even worse. You know, I was there on a college scholarship, so I didn't have money, and everybody else there did have money, and they didn't know how to party because they were from rich towns, and I taught them how to use their money and I taught them how to party. So
Everybody's got a talent.
yeah. So we were in and out of the clubs for the first few weeks in college, and I went to a club called Club Space, and I was in there for the whole weekend, didn't realize it, came back to campus, ended up overdosing and dying. They had to put a adrenaline shot through my heart to bring me back to life. And because of that, it was on school campus. I lost everything I worked my entire life for.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't play basketball in NCAA ever. I couldn't go to school there anymore. And so I kind of had an FU attitude to the whole world. I had nothing to live for because that was my identity. That's all I've ever known. And I moved to Fort Lauderdale and just went balls to the wall. I started doing a lot of cocaine, a whole lot. And it got so bad that I thought maybe, I can move over to Fort Myers and get away from the drugs. And I just found a new drug over here, which was opiates. That is what brought me to my knees. It just got worse. My family wanted nothing to do with me. I didn't know about any rehabs. I didn't know about detox. The only time I would see my mother was to go to her house so I can withdraw in her bathroom for weeks. It was really, really bad. And my mom would see me only when I was hallucinating, coming off the benzos, going into whole other countries in my mom's living room. And she just would sit there and watch me and make sure I didn't hurt myself or hurt anybody else. And that's the only time I would go home to see my mom.
Did you need a passport?
You know what? I really did.
So you actually had hallucinations that you were traveling? Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
I really did. On planes and smuggling weed back over here. Yeah.
Wow.
And kids swallowing bags of stuff
Oh,
and
yeah.
smuggling the kids over.
Okay.
Those were real.
So as much as I joke about it, it was no joke.
Yeah,
living
it wasn't. It was seriously crazy because I believed it. And the hallucinations would get bad, and sometimes they would get good. And I would be laughing and talking to people in the living room and in the house, and sometimes they would turn evil.
Huh.
Yeah, and that's
Your imaginary friends were out to get you.
yeah, some of them.
So the hardest part of all this was thinking you were this person and this was your purpose on earth, and now that's gone. Mm-hmm. There is no purpose anymore, is there?
No,
And so we just dive into our addiction and we want to die.
I had nothing else to live for, so I
get
thought.
that. I get
so
that.
thought.
So what happened?
So what happened was I got kicked out of my family's house. They didn't want anything to do with me. Even the dope men didn't want nothing to do with me because I took so much. They thought I was going to die at their house or on their couch. And so nobody would even sell me anymore because I took too much around them.
You're a bad risk.
Yeah, tap their high or get them arrested. The first time I ever decided to get help was after going to the doctor, the whole doctor thing, and my brother coming to visit me in a hotel, just to party. My brother didn't really do drugs. He would drink and smoke a little here or there, hit a couple of bumps, that was it. And he got into my pills that night when I passed out.
Oh, yeah.
And my brother overdosed and died. And he never did wake up.
Oh,
And that was, a
And
big
we
part.
don't think we're hurting anybody else.
Yeah. And the only thing I could think about is how many pills I have downstairs, and if the police find them, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble.
Wow.
Meanwhile, my brother is laying on the gurney dead. It was sick. My addiction brought me so far down that you don't realize the people you're hurting or killing. And you don't realize the people when you sell drugs, the same thing, who died.
Whoever you sell it to, you don't know what they're doing when they walk away from you.
I showed a pregnant girl's boyfriend where to get pills, and that pregnant lady found the pills from her boyfriend, took them, and died, and the baby. You don't realize how far those drugs can go, and whose hands a kid could get them. People think just because they sell them, they're not taking them. It doesn't hurt anybody, but it does.
So with all that, what happened? How did you ever reach a point where you could get out of that that mess?
Well, I went to rehab 5 times, got kicked out of all of them, arrested in some. I went to detox 13 times, and it never really worked for me. But I had to come to a point where I was just done fighting. That was it. I just couldn't fight to live anymore. I couldn't fight to get high anymore. It just came to an end. And I went to the hospital, and I've been there so many times from overdoses. But this was different for me this time. I went to the hospital. I called some lady that was in the program that I knew for a while, and she came and picked me up and brought me to detox at 2:00 in the morning. And she's still my sponsor today, over 3 years later. Awesome lady.
And how did you know to call this person?
You know what? I was carrying a purse, and I never carry a purse. And I had a meeting list from when I was in rehab before. And I just picked her off of there and called her because I seen her before.
Right,
You
right.
know?
Wow.
Very strong woman that you called, too.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you go into rehab and you start to get a little bit better. What happens?
What happens? Well, I went into detox for the last time, and that lady asked me if I prayed, and I said, yeah. She said, do you believe in God? And I said, yes. She said, do you mind if I pray with you? And I was like, of course. We prayed before I went into detox, and then I went into the shower after that at 2:00 in the morning while everybody was asleep, and I just surrendered my life to God.
Amen.
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 I just let that water wash over me, asked God to take away all that filth and shame and regret and everything I did to people, and just please take it away and make me a new person. And he did. I woke up a completely different person. I went in there and I said, I don't want your Suboxone, I don't want your Valium, I don't want anything. I want to detox. If I got to go through the withdrawals, I'm going through it. And I didn't. You know what? God took that away from me. And I would have seizures if I didn't have Xanax because I was addicted to them for 12 years, and I still today have not had a seizure. No medication.
Amen.
You know?
Go ahead, yeah.
So,
You know, I want to say something right up front that we, as Rated R for Recovery, are not a religious program. We
Nope.
don't subscribe to Buddha. We have our own individual beliefs, and all we're taught is that I don't make the sun come up or the sun go down, the leaves change or the flowers bloom. So there has to be a power greater than myself. Now, for me personally, that's Jesus Christ. For you, that might be something else. I don't know. But when you hear us talk, you're going to find a common thread that weaves us together, and that is a power greater than ourselves. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I couldn't do it alone. I had to admit that I could not do it alone. Therefore, I needed something greater than me to help me. And for a while, it was the people that I met for a long while.
Sure. And they form a group of strength for us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's strength in numbers, and that's why there's in a 12-step program, the first word in step 1 is we, and any other group, it's a group together that stays together, that grows together. Carrie Ann, what do you like today?
What do you got going on today,
Yeah, what's
Carrie?
going on?
What's going
Don't look
on
at me like
today?
that. You
Yeah.
know.
oh, man. God has blessed me, I'll tell you that.
Yes, sir.
Man, today is awesome. I've been blessed my first year of recovery. I saved my money, and I was able to open a women's sober living home in Cape Coral. I try to move it into a very nice neighborhood, a very nice house, and I've been in so many places that I know what works and I know what doesn't work. And this house has been very successful, and these girls have been picking up clean time, and
And moving on and moving up.
and moving on and moving up, and getting their kids back and getting their own place, and that's what I live for today. See, I thought my life was supposed to be a doctor and a basketball player, but who can I help doing that? God had a different plan for me, so I had to go through all of that hell so I can help other people get out of it.
And we don't realize that. See, when our world is taken away from us, and whatever that world would be, for me it was broadcasting. When that world is
For
taken,
me, it was music.
and for you it was music, and I'm sure for Heather and Monica, who we're going to hear from in a minute, it was something else. For everybody, it's something that we feel it's taken away from us. We don't want to sit back and say, okay, this is that power working in me, so I can submit to that power finally, and that power can mold me to where that power
Where I'm
wants
supposed
me
to go.
Where
The
I'm-
desires of my heart. And they may not be what I thought they were supposed to be.
Yeah. So you're a trainer, correct? You train people physically.
No, not
No.
anymore. No, now I'm a realtor. I just train myself.
You're a realtor. So you're a realtor now
Yeah.
with your other brother, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And you have a business together.
Yes.
And you have
I have two halfway
houses
houses
now.
Yes, I just opened another halfway house in Fort Myers.
Okay, are they halfway houses or are they sober
Well,
living
no,
facilities?
I don't like to call them halfway houses because you're not halfway to anything. It's
Amen.
you're in a sober living
Right.
house.
Now, one of the young ladies who just joined this sober, what do you think? The veteran or the newcomer?
I'm a newcomer.
Okay. Heather, come to the microphone, please. Tell us your name and tell us how you came to Carrie Ann.
My name's Heather. I came to Carrie Ann's a couple days after New Year's this year. I don't know. I was just done. Like Carrie Ann said, I couldn't do it anymore.
Do
my
what?
life.
Do what? Sorry for interrupting. What were you done with? What
no,
couldn't you
you're
do?
Just running around and waking up every day just to get high. That was what my life had become. I didn't have my kids anymore. I didn't care about them. I didn't care if they were okay. All I did was wake up and figure out how I was going to get high. And I couldn't do it anymore. I was just done.
So what did you do? When you realized you were done, what was the first thing you did? What did you do?
Well, the night before I went to bed, the night before I surrendered, I just remember sitting in my bed and I just prayed. I was like, God, I can't do this anymore. So either way, either take me or let me get it, you know? And I woke up the next day and I didn't want to get high. I showed up at a friend's halfway house and I was just like, I'm here, I'm staying, hang out with me, And I've been around the sober community ever since. I've been sober ever since.
For those of you that are listening live, or if we are live tonight, and do listen to this show later, Heather and Carrie Ann had this experience where they asked, they prayed, and they closed their eyes, and it was removed. It's not always that case. So I don't want people to think that all I have to do is get on my knees and say one prayer, and it's going to be removed from me. It did happen for them like that, and tell us another way that can happen, though. How we can stop that upset. For me, I had to be locked up.
And for me it was I just went to meetings, and since I wasn't a daily drinker, I thought that I didn't have to go to a meeting every day. But I went to a couple meetings a week, and I didn't drink in between. And after a while, I started getting irritable, and it was at that time that I realized I was going to have to do something. And that was when I found someone who had been there before and led me through a series of steps. And at the end of that, you're guaranteed to have a spiritual awakening, and that's the way my spiritual awakening came about.
Right, and some of it, and it happens differently for different people, right?
Yes.
And what do you do to keep that spiritual awakening? What do you do to keep that fresh?
I go where people are also trying to follow God, to discover God. I follow them, and we work together.
Okay, all right. So now, Heather, how long have you been at Carrie Ann's Sober House?
I'm coming up on 60 days.
Okay,
there.
Congratulations. Now,
Can you believe it?
absolutely.
No, it's crazy. In the 5 years that I've been in and out of this program, in and out of the rooms, I've never put together 60 honest days of actually working a program.
Back to back?
Yeah.
No nights off?
consecutively.
In the past, have you ever wanted to stay clean and sober, though? Really wanted to stay clean and sober?
I think I knew I needed to,
Right, and that's not
but
what
I
I'm
didn't
talking
really
about.
want it.
Okay,
Right.
absolutely. So now, like Heather said, she's done. She doesn't want to live this life anymore. So she did some action to keep her from living that life anymore. And I'm not going to speak for you. What else did you do? You showed up at her door. That's one thing. What do you do?
Well, I got a sponsor. She's sitting right next to me. And I go to meetings every day. I have a network of women, and men, but women that I talk to, and that's something I never did in the past. I never reached out to women. It was
works
easier to
better
talk to
that
the
way.
guys,
Of course it is.
And but I have women that I can call today that are actually there for me. And
They say
it's-
the men will pat your behind and the women will save it.
Yeah. And that's all I was looking for before, Somebody tell me it would be okay. And these girls they don't sugarcoat anything. And it's nice though, they call me out. And I'm working my steps now. I just started my 4th step. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see what I need to work on and what's going to better me.
And we're excited to see you.
Yes, we are. And thank you very much for sharing.
It looks good on you.
Now, as
Thank
Heather
you.
described, right next to you is a young lady named Monica and her daughter. What's your daughter's name? I met your daughter
This is
before.
Savannah.
You
Hey,
wanna say-
Savannah, you
wanna
want to say
hi,
hey?
Savannah,
Can
to
you say
everybody?
hi? She's
Well,
shy.
yeah, well, that's okay.
That's okay.
She just wants me right now.
Now, Savannah, you were involved with Carrie Ann's living facility or sober living facility. How did you come to Carrie Ann?
Okay, I had moved to Fort Myers with a little bit of clean time, and I had ended up at the ACT shelter from a relationship that I had got into where it was an abusive relationship. And I ended up at the ACT shelter, and I ended up not having her because I didn't want to bring her there. And
Where did she go?
she was with my parents while I was in my early sobriety.
Okay.
And I ended up in the hospital. I had to have a surgery. And when I got out, they tried giving me medicine, like medication for pain. And I was at the point where I would have rather dealt with the pain than have those medications in my body, because I know those medications will just put me back out on the street where I
Right.
came from. Because my past came, I was addicted to opiates and heroin my last time out on the street, and I had lost her because of it. I had ended up in a rehab. So when I got out of the hospital, I called Carrie Ann and I told her, I have nothing. I have no money. I have no job. I'm here and I'm on the verge of going back out if I don't, get somewhere safe. And I was in her house like 30 minutes later.
That's fast.
Like literally, yeah. I ended up there. She pushed me to get a job, even though she knew I was in pain because I had just had surgery. I had got about 2 days, like, to just relax and, get a little bit of healing. I went out and I found 2 jobs, like, almost right away. And I was working, and some things had happened with my family that we were having issues. I had been there for a while already. I had been working and paying, and, I had seen people come and go. And I had the one thing I had really enjoyed about being at Carrie Ann's house was basically the fact that she was involved with the women.
Yes.
She called me every day to see how I was, where I was, what I was doing. She would call me to see, what's going on in the house, who's doing what. Like
Have some accountability.
Right. Every other halfway house I had been to or sober living environment had been at. They came to pick up a check.
Right.
That was it. And if you passed a drug test, you could stay. They really didn't care about what you were doing out on the streets, how you were making the money to pay your rent. Like, if it was honest, they didn't care, as long as they were getting their money. And to me, that just wasn't going to help. I needed accountability in my life. I needed someone to call me out. And she pushed me to find a sponsor. She pushed me to go to meetings. She pushed me to do everything I needed to do. And, she had basically given me a platform to stand on so I could stand up and, move forward. And I had been there for a couple months, and my parents dropped her off at the doorstep one night at like 10 o'clock at night. So now, Carrie Ann's, I called her and I said, well, Savannah's here, and she says, well, I'm not going to put you out. She's like, she cleared out on one of the other girls, and I ended up with my own room, and I was there with Savannah.
Wow.
For a good while. We were there
How long?
almost a month.
How long totally did you spend at Carrie Ann's?
Close to 3 months, I believe.
Okay. What
Right.
did you learn from going through the process and the unconditional love that Carrie Ann showed you? What did you learn from that?
I learned how to grow spiritually. She was taking me to church. She taught me how to get up in the morning and to, continue having like some type of stability in my life. I had no stability. I didn't make my bed. I didn't do
Right.
dishes. None of those things were part of my life. I do my dishes. I get up. I may not make my bed every morning, but, I still get up and I go to work. Even on my days off, I get up. You know what I mean? And I've learned how to
That's a big
maintain my
deal.
life. Yes, I get up. I'm not sleeping till noon, She taught me how to love myself, like really. She may not have actually done it intentionally, but the things that she showed me, it showed me how to love myself, how to get up, how to move, how to find a job, how to act, all those little things that she showed me, they guided me to where I am now. I ended up now, we live on our own. I have my own place, just me and her. Carrie Ann's now my sponsor.
It's not television, so when you say it's me and her,
Me and Savannah,
okay.
yes.
And
I'm sorry.
how old is Savannah?
Savannah's 4 now. When she was at Carrie Ann's, she was 3.
Okay.
Savannah, you want to say hi now? You want to
say
say
hi?
hello in there? No? Okay.
Okay, so you support yourself, you support Savannah,
Yes.
and you have a job, and
do.
Savannah has school, and you have when you came in, did you have a driver's license and a car?
Absolutely not. I had nothing
Okay.
when I came in. I have a car. I have a driver's license. I have my own place. I have a job I maintain. I got my CNA license. I'm going to be starting to work at the hospital on the 1st of April. I know it's not April Fool's joke, though.
We hope not.
Right.
So we go from myself and from what Carrie Ann told me and what I know of others. We go from living on the street, not weighing much, maybe some of us without teeth, and eating what we could steal or what we could get out of dumpsters, to being productive members of society.
Yep.
This does not happen overnight, and this does not happen strictly on our own accord.
Right.
So
It
go
happens
ahead.
with help.
Absolutely, absolutely. Carrie Ann, tell us the name of your sober house. How do we get in touch with it?
The name of my sober house is the Surrender House, and you can get a hold of me either Facebook or you can get a hold of me from.
Do you have a website for the Surrender House?
It is it's being made. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, Facebook,
You can
Surrender
get-
House.
Yep, the Surrender House Facebook,
That's
or
good.
you can call me.
Okay, all right. So and the phone number is on the Facebook page.
Yes.
Okay. So once again, it's the Surrender House, ladies and gentlemen. Carrie Ann is the facilitator. You can see her on the Facebook, like it, and share it with your friends. How much is the rent there?
The Cape Coral one is $130 a week. The Fort Myers one is $115 a week, and it does cover everything: is electric, water, cable, internet, phone. I buy all the toilet paper, cleaning supplies, everything.
Yeah, everything.
Except your food.
Except food. And what are the rules?
The rules: we have a curfew, 10 o'clock curfew. You have to go to a meeting every day. You have to get a sponsor within a week, a home group within a week. You get a commitment as soon as you get your home group, and no men allowed on our property. Sorry, ma'am. Ever. Never. You're not allowed to
Never,
leave
ever.
with a man.
How about if my daughter's there and I want to pick her up for church?
That
Meet
is
her down the
acceptable.
street.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Go down the street. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, and another thing that Carrie Ann does do that is probably not for everybody, but in extreme circumstances, and there are extreme circumstances, because I don't know if you were, but I was in extreme circumstance. Coming out of a jail and coming out of being locked up for so long, I didn't have a job. I had no place to go. And somebody like Carrie Ann said, come here and stay here. And they worked with me until I was able, like Monica, to go out and get a job and start getting on my feet, and then started paying the rent. And as a matter of fact, I paid an extra $25 a week for something like a year until I was caught up with that prior in arrears. We ride buses when we have to ride buses. We ride bicycles, don't we? Yeah.
Okay.
And we'd
will.
like to say, let's have, because I'll keep going.
I
And
know.
she knows that.
Okay, then.
So we want to thank Carrie Ann, Monica, and Heather. Give them a nice round of applause.
Thanks, you guys, so much.
You're listening
God
to,
is great.
You're listening to Rated R for Recovery. RatedRforRecovery.com. We'll be right back after this word.
That's gonna leave a mark. But not if you bring your vehicle to DHAB Your Automotive Rehab, your one-stop shop for all auto body work and paint. No job too big or small. With over 25 years experience, DHAB can make your vehicle look like the accident never happened. DHAB Your Automotive Rehab is located at 2534 Highland Street, 1 block off Edison Avenue in Fort Myers. So if you have a scratch, ding, dent, or bent, call DHAB Your Automotive Rehab at 332-1813.
Have you been considering a kitchen renovation or bathroom remodeling? There's no one better to call than the professionals at Honey's Construction. Value, beauty, and functionality. Get the right design for your kitchen or bathroom and add significant value to your home. Call Honey's Construction today at 229-4934 for a free in-home consultation. Honey's Construction's purpose and mission is to fulfill dreams and to be grateful for the many blessings we enjoy each and every day. 229-4934. Get the taste of home while eating out. Gwendolyn's Cafe and Catering. Open daily for breakfast and lunch and located at 2400 First Street in downtown Fort Myers. Gwendolyn's Cafe and Catering specializes in homemade soups, salads, sandwiches, and desserts. And Gwendolyn's has been rated 5 stars by Urban Spoon and Yelp. Get the taste of home while dining out. Or let us bring the taste of home to your home with our free delivery. Gwendolyn's Cafe and Catering, 2400 First Street, downtown Fort Myers.
Every Friday night at 6:45 p.m., experience Celebrate Recovery at Grace Church at 13 Southeast 21st Place in Cape Coral. The purpose of Celebrate Recovery is to encourage fellowship and to celebrate God's healing power in our lives as we work our way along the road to recovery. By working through the 12 steps and 8 principles of Celebrate Recovery, we grow spiritually and we are freed from our hurts, habits, and hang-ups. Celebrate Recovery every Friday night at 6:45 p.m. at Grace Church, 13 Southeast 21st Place in Cape Coral.
Have you been charged with a crime? You could face serious penalties for conviction, and it is vitally important that you have skilled legal assistance on your side during this time. Call Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, Attorney at Law today. 888-512-6254. Results matter. With a track record of success, our methods are tried and true. Mistakes happen, but we can help. Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, Attorney at Law. Visit FortMyersCriminalLawFirm.com or call 888-512-6254.
Bust a gut laughing at Off the Hook Comedy Club inside Captain Brian's Seafood and Raw Bar.
For tickets, call 239-389-6900. That's 389-6900. Or visit OffTheHookComedy.com. Off the Hook Comedy Club inside Captain Brian's Seafood and Raw Bar. Enjoy the best raw bar in Southwest Florida and a menu of delicious entrees like juicy prime rib and the best seafood, period. Located at 599 South Collier Boulevard, Suite 218 on Marco Island, across from the Hilton Hotel. Visit OffTheHookComedy.com.
J&J Appliance Repair Inc. is a Christ-centered company of 3 years. We operate our company using God's golden rule. Treat others as you want to be treated. That is honestly, dependably, and as quickly as possible at a fair price. That's just what we do. With 30 plus years experience, we keep updated through continuing education. We repair all makes and models, as well as install dishwashers and hot water tanks. There's vent cleaning, which includes the dryer. We're family owned and operated, insured, licensed, and service Lee County. Call 239-440-4452.
Feeling alone? Feeling lost? Feeling helpless? We're here to help.
What a wonderful song that is.
Oh, yeah. No.
We are Rated R for Recovery.
Serious, yeah.
You can see us on our website at ratedrforrecovery.com. Email us at info@ratedrforrecovery.com. You can see us and like us and share us on the Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn. Is that how you pronounce that? LinkedIn?
LinkedIn.
An old guy. You can hear Rated R for Recovery anytime you like. The show goes up on the internet every Monday on YouTube, iTunes, the Facebook, and thanks to Captain Brian at Captain Brian's Off the Hook Comedy Club in Naples, actually on Marco Island. You can hear us on podcastcafelive.com. And we're going to be streaming live this week, kind of underground. And starting next week, I think we'll be up and running. We'll be able to take phone calls.
Whoop, whoop.
We'll be interviewing people by phone.
That'll be so great.
I think we've got
Real calls this time, not the fake ones.
From what Captain Al, from what you don't know that.
Captain Al.
From what Captain Al says, we'll have Alice Cooper. The young guys over here don't know who Alice Cooper is.
So we have Captain Al and Captain Brian.
I'm 40 years old. I don't know Alice.
Yeah.
We got lots of captains.
I was in diapers, but
I want to be Captain Joy.
I was changing his diapers.
You can be. Okay, we can't have everybody talking at once.
Alice is big again.
Alice never was small.
Oh, not to me.
No, of course. No. Boss Skaggs just played here in town, you know.
Oh.
Yeah. $200 a ticket. What do you think about that?
Don't know.
To hear Lido?
Hear the Lido show. Exactly.
He actually had one more hit song.
Low down.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, so anyway.
Yeah, anyway. So I get
Anyway,
my name's Fletch. Alongside is Joy. We had our first guest in the first segment was Carrie Ann from the Surrender House, a woman's sober living facility, which has 2 locations in Lee County. And you can find her on the Facebook as well. Our guests right now are David. Good evening, David.
How you doing?
Your lovely fiancée, Jonna.
Hi. What's your name?
Jonna, say hi.
Hi.
Okay, Rob.
It's me right here.
And the other gentleman in the back your name is
Eric.
Eric de Half B.
exactly.
No one will know what that is at all.
I do.
Yeah, I know you do. Okay, David, we're going to start with you. Your rap name is Doughboy.
Yes, sir.
How did you get the name?
Because I'm cute and chubby. I don't know.
All right, stop.
And why?
Oh, really?
Now, as a rapper, I don't want you, when you're talking, do not clap into the microphone.
I'm sorry.
And talk into the mic.
Okay,
That's
all
okay.
right.
Whichever mic you like. Okay, and you've been rapping for how long now?
Oh, man, a long time. Since I've been 15, probably.
Yeah? What was your life like?
Oh, man, it was rough. I pretty much came from a broken home, abusive home. My father beat my mother, drugs, alcohol. Got locked up at an early age, in and out of the penal system, in and out of treatment facilities. That carried on through my life from 15.
Excuse me for a second. You were in and out of treatment facilities for what?
For anything I could get a hold of. Alcohol, drugs. I OD'd, was pronounced dead 3 times at the age of 14.
You were dead before you could do any living.
Yes, ma'am. And I also OD'd once again when I was 19. Was pronounced dead once again. But been shot at, shot back, had friends killed, OD'd, died, been in prison. Anything you can think of that the world could offer you to have fun.
what would you say is your bottom? What was the bottom line for you? I'm not living like this anymore.
The bottom, just I have to give a little background to reach to the bottom. I had gotten saved and was a Christian rapper and had very successful career in the Midwest and seen a lot of people get saved under our ministry. And I moved to Florida, relocated to Florida almost 6 years ago, and I just kind of didn't have no connection down here and I didn't fit in. It's like people didn't get me, and I kind of strayed away from God and my business is I moved pool tables. So where was I at? I was in bars a lot. So, not having that Christian backing that I had back home down here, I ran right back into the world. And for some reason, cocaine dealers like me. I don't know if they think I'm easy to talk to or what, but they always found me and I made friends with them.
Got that face.
Yeah, maybe, I guess. And I've sold it, done everything you can do it, from weed to pills, whatever it is. But anyway, I found myself rock bottom being a Christian rapper whose parents are pastors in Florida in a hotel room, going to kill myself on Thanksgiving alone. And
pardon me for a second, but you just said you were a Christian rapper whose parents were pastors.
He's
Are
a
these
PK.
the same parents that beat each other?
No, yeah. See, that's why I say there's a lot that's got to be added.
Okay.
My mother got remarried, obviously,
good,
later on
good.
and found
I'm glad.
the Lord. And that's
I'm glad. Okay.
Yeah, but that'll make sense. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot to go. You're slamming 40 years into 2
Absolutely,
seconds.
absolutely.
But anyway, I found myself in a hotel room on Thanksgiving, going to kill myself.
What year?
2 years ago.
Okay.
Wasn't it? And
Not so
3
long
years
ago.
almost 3 years. 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Yeah. And I was going to kill myself. Had a lot of dope. Was paranoid, man. Had dudes trying to bring me guns because I was going to kill myself, but I was telling them all things. Anyway, long story short, man, and I couldn't do it. And this girl to my left, who I had known through drug stuff, and actually had met from me going to jail. Anyway, a lot of stuff. Who had went into Teen Challenge 3 years prior to that? Would it be, or 2 years prior to that? 2 years prior to that, and changed her whole life around. Graduated the program, had been a mentor there, and
So you knew her one way, and then you saw that her life had changed.
well, she reached out to me when a lot of people didn't.
Okay.
And long story short, there's a song that I have, which they're going to play later, called "Leave 'Em Behind," which I actually filmed the video back in the hotel room where I was going to kill myself and kind of relive some of it.
That's heavy stuff.
And here I am, man. I left it behind, and I ain't gonna tell you it's been easy. I ain't gonna tell you I've been perfect. I ain't gonna tell you, but it's all about Jesus at the end of the day, man. Because for somebody to tell you that I'm even here, if you see my 10th grade teacher, she would probably say, if you said, let's gamble, do you think David Cravens is alive, or is he dead or in prison? I guarantee you she's not going to tell you I'm sitting in a coffee shop talking to Heart Rate Recovery. I guarantee you that. Okay. But
that's right.
That's it in a nutshell,
Jonna, what did you see in him back then? Jonna is David's significant other, by the way. Okay.
It was crazy because, like David said, I had done pills with him and cocaine with him, and he saw me at my worst, which is crazy to me.
What was your worst?
Gosh. Like, to even talk about it is almost like a movie, It's like it's not even my life,
It's
I
not.
look back at that.
It's
That's
not
how it
who
is
you-
for me, too. I look back and wonder, who does that? Who was that? Who was that person?
Absolutely. And to make a long story short, I had met David, at my lowest, where I had been a prostitute, a stripper. I had no hope. Several different suicides with needles in my arm, crystal meth, Odine on pain pills. It was just constant. I could never, ever pull myself back up, because we can never pull ourselves up.
Not by ourselves.
We can't do it. Absolutely not. And I would go to church, and that's where I actually met David, was in a church. I would go to church, and I would see people praising God, and I would go up for prayer, and I was like, God, why? Why can't I have what they have? And it would kill me. And when I met David, he saw me at my lowest. And it was funny because, in Teen Challenge, we would do car washes, because we were self-sponsored. And it was crazy how God would bring David back into my life. And here would come David pulling up and seeing me. And he was like, man, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. You look so good. You're doing so good.
When did you go to Teen Challenge? What year was that?
It was September 21st of 2010.
Okay.
So, and then I would see him at car washes, and then after I'd graduated the program, I saw him walk into my mom's house. And then he knew I was going into the police academy,
Wow.
So, yeah, things, that God has done.
That's my girl. That's my girl.
Isn't that crazy stuff?
Me with a
can't
cop,
beat 'em?
right?
Yeah, right. Me sitting at a table with a
Don't
cop.
tell none of my friends.
Okay. So you're a police officer now?
No, I'm not. But I went to police academy, graduated it, didn't pass my officer certification exam,
Oh, God has a
fear
plan.
test. Exactly.
Oh,
God does
amen.
have a plan.
Amen.
But then I started talking to David again. I happened to get in touch with him, told him I graduated the police academy, checked on him, see how he was doing.
I lied a lot to her back then. By the way.
Yes, you
Hey,
did.
doing pretty good.
No,
How are you?
hey, good to see you.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Yeah.
I'll be over there.
Yeah, but we kept in touch, and it was crazy because he became like my best friend.
Right.
It was never like a romantic kind of thing, but man, he was always so. He was such an encourager for me, and I knew and I saw in David what his purpose was for David, so it was just like, man, I just wanted to sew back into somebody, because not only did I get to be there and mentor women, here was somebody that God had put in my life, and I knew it was for a reason.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. You say you graduated the program of Teen Challenge. What happens after you graduate a program like that?
I was the first woman who was offered the reentry program.
Which is what?
It's where you get to live there. You've graduated. I stayed in it the whole time I did the police academy, which was for a year. But I was the first woman who ever got to live there and have my 2 children live there with me.
Wow.
So you stay there. You get to mentor. You still have that covering. Which was awesome for me because I was from Fort Myers, so it was great. And it's in Pine Manor, which is crazy of all places. But that's how God works, So, it was awesome for me. It was really awesome for me.
Well, that's awesome.
Thank you
awesome.
so much for sharing that with us.
David, you have, like you said, we're going to play some of your music later. Whichever cut you want first, we'll play first. But alongside of you, you're a part of a group of people that is going to include our third segment guest as well, which has a movement called Taking the City, correct?
That's my family. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
all right. And we're going to talk to Greg more about Taking the City. But right now, Rob, if you're on the microphone there, the next function is coming up next week or 2 weeks, March 14th. Tell us who you are,
right,
and tell us about this function.
Okay, well, since we're doing anonymity, but my name's Rob. Sorry about the no anonymity, but Rob Thager. We've been doing Night on the Crown here for about 2 years.
And what is Night on the Crown?
Night on the Crown is a movement, and we
Night
basically,
of the Crown.
yeah, it's a gospel-centered movement, hip hop entertainment event. And so we reach a younger crowd. Studio 7 Cafe, obviously the name of the shop now. We've had it here for 2 years, but it's existed here in this coffee shop before Studio 7 was a cafe here, and it's gone strong. And we reach a younger generation, and we give them something to do on Friday nights.
What's your
once
message?
a month?
What's your message to that younger generation?
We
not to do what me and Doughboy did. Is that what? That's probably one of them. Go ahead.
It's all about Jesus, man. I mean, I could tell you some stories about my life too. I have a whole testimony too. My life was pretty crazy. It's kind of weird that we're all hearing this together, because I could go back, and a lot of us that when I was a teenager, we were all doing the same stuff too. We were all selling drugs, and myself as well, even though my path probably in the drug area didn't go quite as deep as a lot of people you might have on here. You know, in my 20s, being an alcoholic, pretty much for the most part, I was drinking every night, you know, partying like crazy, and I had no way out of that. You know, just being a drinker, a casual drinker, you don't see how you would ever turn your life around and just be some kind of straight edge individual. But so for me, I mean, Christ that's where it was. You know, it starts out with a couple prayers, and it escalates from there, and then you find yourself, you know, you're going to church and you have a mission. When your life turns around, you have a mission. I think it's the same with alcoholics, and you guys could tell me more about that.
Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be alcohol and drugs. It can be anything that what Celebrate Recovery people call a hurt, habit, or hang-up. Yeah. Whatever your it is, codependency, overeating, food addiction, which I just said, sex addiction, porn, whatever it is that keeps us from that power. Right. See, that's what the whole thing's about. It separates us from that power, and then we live our lives based on what we think we want to do as selfish and self-centered individuals. Right. So anyway, and what is your function with this movement? What do you specifically do?
Yeah, I'm the director, so I handle the booking and promoting, and we usually have several rap artists. We've had dance competitions here, Crazy Dancers and stuff like that, and we get all kinds of
I'd
different.
love to see that.
Yeah,
sort of like Dancing with the Stars.
We've had live mimes. We get all kinds of crazy. It's mostly a hip hop event with dance and stuff, but we've had all kinds of crazy stuff in here. So we just try to make it like an awesome time for any kid to come to and hang out on a Friday night. But with this next one coming up, March 14th, it kind of just so happened we got Doughboy here, who we've been hanging out a lot lately,
right.
and they got this song called "Push and Hope Not Dope."
Yeah.
So and it just it's funny how things come together. You guys are here right now doing Rated R for Recovery in the cafe, and me and Doughboy have been hanging out, and they've got this "Push and Hope Not Dope" song. So it's not coincidence. It just comes together like that.
I know, because I had never heard of y'all before last week.
That's because we're old.
So,
could be.
No,
Could be that.
A lot of people haven't ever.
I'll blame it on that.
And Eric, what's your function with all this?
Basically, I just got made the co-director of Night of the Crown.
Was that something you wanted to do, or something that they made you do?
No,
or
it's something that I wanted to do because I did minister here a couple times before this place was called Studio
7. Right.
And
we'll have to talk.
Yeah, I did come by here a couple times with Night of the Crown, so it just kind of gave me more of an interest and more of an incentive to work with Robert Thagard, and and I just wanted to see what I have a lot of ideas as far as like dance competitions, different types of things to
like
games
event planning
and all that and all that stuff, and I'm actually part of this movement called Taking the City movement also, so I'm gonna have So I'm going to have some of the guys from Taking the City come to these events also as well. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, we're going to talk to another gentleman that's involved with Taking the City, and I've seen him on many occasions come out and do his show in front of all age groups, all different backgrounds, and I was very impressed by the group of people that did those performances. Doughboy, why don't you, or David, since that's your God-given name, why don't you preview the song that we're going to hear, and then we're going to play the song for you.
Push and Hope first. This song's called Push and Hope.
We're going to do one cut. So one cut.
You want to do one cut? Okay, we're going to do Push and Hope.
Where can they find the song, first of all?
Oh, man. ReverbNation.com, Doughboy /BSE. Bloodstain Effect. Reverb. All you gotta do is type in Doughboy Cape Coral, Florida, and it'll all pull up. But
well, that's good.
This song's called Push and Hope. Me, my buddy Jarila, which he'll be up here at the next segment with G, and another sister of ours is down with Taking the City, Diamond. She's not here tonight. It's just I sold dope all my life, and I was a very aggressive dope dealer. You know what I mean? I was very successful. I made money. If you owed me money, I went and got it. And that's the way it went down. And we're so aggressive in the world. I thought, man, I'm a very aggressive person. I'm like, why shouldn't I be more aggressive telling people they're dying and going to hell, man, and what God did for me? So it's just a song. It almost sounds like we're selling dope, but we're hope pushers, man. That's what we do.
And I laughed when you said how aggressive you were doing this because of the fact that I was your customer at one time. I was the guy.
I was my customer, too.
I was my best customer. And what would happen is that it'd be 1:45 on a Wednesday morning, and I'd have all this dope that you fronted me.
Right.
And the phone would stop ringing, but I wouldn't stop smoking.
Right.
So here it is, without any further ado. This is Doughboy and Pushing Hope. Not dope.
Pushing hope from the burbs out to the projects. I'm a street preacher with my Bible in my hand, showing love my fellow man. I praise the great I am, just an MC, but my rhymes full of hope. Been redeemed, changed around, quit pushing all the dope. I'm talking Jesus, dog, and everything he do. That mess you got yourself in, well, he can bring you through. I'm talking to my boys already in the pen. I'm talking to my partners about to hit that road again. I'm talking to my people cooking meth in them labs. The ones hooked on Roxy's and they out there popping tabs. Hope pusher, man, I tell you about my savior. He's got me so high with that Christ-like flavor. I'm out here in the streets cause I came from the streets, and I done sold it all, from the pills to the weed. I'm pushing hope now.
Give it to the homies. They believe in what we saying cause we speaking boldly. Taking cities, pushing hope and always showing love. People think we banging cause we covered in their blood. Jesus Christ reigns, so I'm praying for a blood. Set me on fire,
That's gonna leave a mark. But not if you bring your vehicle to D-Hab Your Automotive Rehab. Your one-stop shop for all auto body work and paint. No job too big or small. With over 25 years experience, D-Hab can make your vehicle look like the accident never happened. D-Hab Your Automotive Rehab is located at 2534 Highland Street, one block off Edison Avenue in Fort Myers. So if you have a scratch, ding, dent, or bent, call D-Hab Your Automotive Rehab at 332-18. That's gonna leave a mark. But not if you bring your vehicle to D-Hab Your Automotive Rehab. Your one-stop shop for all auto body work and paint. No job too big or small. With over 25 years experience, D-Hab can make your vehicle look like the accident never happened. D-Hab Your Automotive Rehab is located at 2534 Highland Street, one block off Edison Avenue in Fort Myers. So if you have a scratch, ding, dent, or bent, call D-Hab Your Automotive Rehab at 332-1813.
Have you been considering a kitchen renovation or bathroom remodeling? There's no one better to call than the professionals at Honey's Construction. Value, beauty, and functionality. Get the right design for your kitchen or bathroom and add significant value to your home. Call Honey's Construction today at 229-4934 for a free in-home consultation. Honey's Construction's purpose and mission is to fulfill dreams and to be grateful for the many blessings we enjoy each and every day. 229-4934. Get the taste of home while eating out. Gwendolyn's Cafe and Catering. Open daily for breakfast and lunch and located at 2400 First Street in downtown Fort Myers. Gwendolyn's Cafe and Catering specializes in homemade soups, salads, sandwiches, and desserts. And Gwendolyn's has been rated 5 stars by Urban Spoon and Yelp. Get the taste of home while dining out. Or let us bring the taste of home to your home with our free delivery. Gwendolyn's Cafe and Catering, 2400 First Street, downtown Fort Myers.
Every Friday night at 6:45 p.m., experience Celebrate Recovery at Grace Church at 13 Southeast 21st Place in Cape Coral. The purpose of Celebrate Recovery is to encourage fellowship and to celebrate God's healing power in our lives as we work our way along the road to recovery. By working through the 12 steps and 8 principles of Celebrate Recovery, we grow spiritually and we are freed from our hurts, habits, and hang-ups. Celebrate Recovery every Friday night at 6:45 p.m. at Grace Church, 13 Southeast 21st Place in Cape Coral.
Have you been charged with a crime? You could face serious penalties for conviction, and it is vitally important that you have skilled legal assistance on your side during this time. Call Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, Attorney at Law today. 888-512-6254. Results matter. With a track record of success, our methods are tried and true. Mistakes happen. but we can help. Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, attorney at law. Visit FortMyersCriminalLawFirm.com or call 888-512-6254.
Bust a gut laughing at Off the Hook Comedy Club inside Captain Brian's Seafood and Raw Bar.
For tickets, call 239-389-6900. That's 389-6900. Or visit OffTheHookComedy.com. Off the Hook Comedy Club inside Captain Brian's Seafood and Raw Bar. Enjoy the best raw bar in Southwest Florida and a menu of delicious entrees like juicy prime rib and the best seafood, period. Located at 599 South Collier Boulevard, Suite 218 on Marco Island across from the Hilton Hotel. Visit OffTheHookComedy.com.
J&J Appliance Repair Inc. is a Christ-centered company of 3 years. We operate our company using God's golden rule. Treat others as you want to be treated. That is honestly, dependably, and as quickly as possible at a fair price. That's just what we do. With 30 plus years experience, we keep updated through continuing education. We repair all makes and models, as well as install dishwashers and hot water tanks. There's vent cleaning, which includes the dryer. We're family owned and operated, insured, licensed, and service Lee County. Call 239-440-4452.
Feeling alone? Feeling lost? Feeling helpless? We're here to help.
27. Rated R for Recovery. RatedRforRecovery.com. I started to say a number because that's what I used to tell you the phone number. We'll have a phone number in a matter of weeks now.
You'll living in the past for a minute.
Right. You'll be able to call in the show, make comments, questions, or if you need help, you can call in the show too, and we can direct you to. We can't save you over the phone. We can't save you in person.
We can do what we can.
Yeah. Nothing can save. We can't save any. We couldn't save ourselves. You're listening to Rated. You're listening to Rated R for Recovery. Is there coming out of there? Because it sounds like it may not be, but it could be. All right, we're listening to Rated R for Recovery, RatedRforRecovery.com. You can email us with questions or comments at info@RatedRforRecovery.com. You can hear us on YouTube, iTunes, and through the blessings of Captain Brian at Captain Brian's Off the Hook Comedy Club on Marco Island, who's a dear friend of the show, was with us from the very beginning when we were on 96 K-Rock, which is a local radio station here. You can hear it on his podcast network, which is podcastcafelive.com. You can also hear Zito and Garrett, former members of K-Rock staff, on that show as well. We broadcast live every week from Studio 7 Cafe and Coffee Company, located on Del Prado Boulevard in Cape Coral. And each week they have a special sandwich and a special coffee, so make sure that you come in. They are open 7 days a week. Just because we're not here doesn't mean you can't come here, right?
Right.
And there's always something going on here, right?
I plan on getting a sandwich.
You do?
Yeah.
You better hurry up and order before they run out of bread. Okay, our guest right now is Greg Jackson, who is his stage name is G Rain, and Jurila. This is very hard for me.
You got it right, man.
Jurila, that's it. And is that your God-given name?
God gave it to me, yeah, but not my birth name, no.
Okay, yeah. Well, so what's your birth name?
Jonathan.
Yeah. Jonathan. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. All right, my name's John. Well, I shouldn't say that, but yes, it is. Right. Well, I got a little sentimental there. Now, so we're going to start with Greg G Rain, your rap name, correct?
Yes.
And you're going to be performing live with Jurila, right?
Yes.
In a few minutes.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, love it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now you started. This is all right. Tell me if this doesn't sound familiar. It's Friday night. We don't go out. Let me see how this works. 10 o'clock. We're in a car. The windows are tinted. Everybody's got a styrofoam cup.
Right.
All right. Okay. We just come off Fowler Street at the liquor store.
Right. Oh, you know about all of that, huh?
We got you know.
Okay.
Right. And we're heading out. We're heading out, and the music's loud, and there's probably about 4 people in the car. One of us has got a gun.
Right.
Okay. And one of us has got a gun, and we've got bags of dope, and we're going to move around, and we're going to make money. Right.
Correct.
That's what we do.
Correct.
Okay. Only it doesn't work, does it?
Nah, it doesn't work.
Works for a little while.
In fact, you started selling drugs at the age of 19, right?
Yes.
And then you started using your product like most of us. Some of us do, not most of us. And then as this got stronger, we get jammed up. We go to jail, right?
Jammed up.
Tell us what happened.
I mean, first of all, I wasn't raised. My mother was I had a great mother, and she raised 3 kids on her own, single mother. She raised all her kids the right way. It was just the environment. You know, I was raised in the Dunbar community, and you know, I can remember and reflect back to all the way to being in elementary school and, you know, being picked on because I didn't have the clothes and the shoes that other kids had. You know, and it wasn't so much that, you know, I didn't want that stuff. I just couldn't afford it. You know, here my mom is, you know, she was a janitor making $8-9 an hour, you know, so, you know, I really felt out of place, you know, coming up in school and you know, seeing the kids come to school with brand new pairs of sneakers and $100 shoes, and you know, it really weighed on me, especially being picked on. So, and you know, just growing up around, you know, all the stuff that I saw within the community, you know, the younger kids, the older kids who were older than me, they were out, you know, involved in selling drugs, and you know, so, you know, and plus I was deceived by a lot of the rap music. And, you know, it was like one thing just led to another.
See, that's a good point, because as somebody that was involved with that scene for a little bit of time, I might not look at or sound it, but it affected my life at one time, and that's what the message was.
Right.
That's what the message of hip hop had become. It didn't start out that way.
Right.
Curtis Blow did not start out rapping about selling drugs, and you know, it was all happy stuff. You know, Grandmaster Flash rapped about the bad stuff that happened with cocaine. You know, and then Rapper's Delight. That was all fun stuff. It was all positive. We all were into it. It was fun. It was good. But somewhere it took a turn. Somewhere it went to a different direction, where it was about selling, how much you can sell, and who you could get over on, and
what
how
you
much,
got.
and
Correct.
how much money you made from it.
Correct. And it was. I tell you, man, it was. You know, I can remember. You know, I started off, you know, smoking marijuana. And it was like I went from marijuana to doing cocaine, and I had developed a strong cocaine addiction, and you know, that's when my attitude changed. The cocaine, it really made me really angry, and I got into robbing and just you know, home invasions, and you know, just causing a lot of trouble. You know, just, you know, which led me to 5 years in prison. I was actually facing 30 years. When I tell you, you know, I only made it by the grace and mercy of God. I mean, you know, you talked about earlier about the higher power, and I was really touched by the young ladies that were up here earlier. I was just really touched, you know, by how God can really just take a person's life and really truly change them. And, you know, that really touches me. You know, because that's what we're all about with Taking the City movement. We're all about seeing lives change. And John, I just want to say you're a great person, man. And I've known you for a while, and I really appreciate what you're doing.
Well, thank you. But in reality, it has nothing to do with me. And
Absolutely
all I am is just a tool sitting here.
Absolutely.
If it wasn't for the young lady, my co-host next to me too, this whole thing wouldn't exist.
Amen.
So, and I know it's by no righteous deed of either of us.
Nope, and it really isn't us either. All the people here at Studio 7 Cafe.
Amen.
I mean, you know, they all play a part in that too.
Amen. And I don't mean to switch directions, but this whole thing came about because the last time I was locked up and I was given 6 months for a possession charge, I was taught how to pray. And really taught how to pray. And I had been in broadcasting, and that God spoke to me and said, this is what you're going to do eventually.
Right.
But it took a number of years to get here, but in his time, not my time.
Amen.
And so how did it happen for you?
Well, my turning point was in my holding cell in the county jail. You know, I just felt like, you know, this was right around the time, you know, I was facing all this time. You know, the only thing that was going through my mind, because I fell up under the 1020 gun law. I fell up under the Florida gun law. All friends, wasn't nobody there. So it was like I had to trust in the Lord. And my mom, she could only do so much. You know, she was sending me canteen, you know, whatever she could do with the little bit of money she had.
What's canteen? You know. Tell us for those who don't know.
Canteen, well, in their canteen, it's basically you need cosmetics, you know, deodorant, snacks, you know, to get you by. You know, you have to pretty much pay for all of that.
Okay.
So, you know, my mother, she was definitely there for me throughout the whole thing.
What year is this?
This was the year 2000.
Okay. Oh, good for you. And I say good for you because time doesn't mean anything, but time means something. So, and it's a credit to the power that works in us.
Right.
That we can stay clean and sober, out of jail, off the street.
A lot of people can stop. It's stay and stop.
Absolutely.
Over a period of time.
Absolutely.
That becomes the crux of it for those of us.
Right. So what happened to those
who are
charges?
Alcoholics and addicts.
Sorry, Sue.
That's right.
Well, it was only by the grace of God that I was able to make it through the whole thing because, like I said, I was facing 30. The state prosecutors, you know, they were just.
They want you. They want you. They want you.
Yeah, there is no. You know, there's no mercy with them. And they were trying to give me 30. They were trying to give me every bit of it. But, you know, God had a plan for me to be out and really, you know.
So the charges got dropped. What happened? The charges got dropped? What happened?
They dropped my charges. They dropped some of my charges, and I still had to do the 5 years.
Okay.
But I didn't have to do the 30 years.
Right.
So,
obviously.
You know, and it was like God, he really came into my life and really changed me. And to be totally honest with you, when I first got out of prison, you know, I was living for the Lord, you know, for a couple months, and I backslid. I went through a time of backsliding. I started back hanging back with the wrong crowd, started back selling drugs and hanging out in the strip clubs, and you know, and one time.
Why do you think that happened?
Well, because I started back hanging around with the wrong people. And one night I got real high off of cocaine and marijuana. And just like the young lady said earlier, and Doughboy said, I almost OD'd. I really thought I was going to lose my life that night. My heart was beating so fast. And all I could think about was, you know, hell. I mean, I hate to, you know, talk about religion and keep bringing it back to religion. But, you know, I was just at the time of my life where I literally felt like I was going to die that night. And I said, God, if you allow me to live tonight, I said, Lord, I will rededicate my life back to you and I will serve you. I will serve you the best way I can.
Obviously, he knew you meant
the next morning, I woke up and went out and found me a church home, and it's been over 10 years now since I've been running with the Lord wholeheartedly.
That's great stuff. And you don't bring religion into it. See,
No,
I don't
you haven't
believe
brought
that.
religion.
I believe that religion comes from man and spirituality comes from
Amen.
God. So I don't mean that to be corrective. That's just how I
Amen.
look at it. How we look at it. Sitting next to G. Rain is Jurila and Jonathan, as your parents named you. And hopefully you forgive me for that. But it's
No,
just,
you good.
Okay. What's your deal?
Well, man, I had both parents, man. I mean, everybody would say I had a good home. You know what I mean? But like him, man, I was the only white guy in my neighborhood. I grew up in Houston, Texas. So all the other kids, you know, the place I went to school, man, they had the Nikes, the Adidas, you know, the Fila, everything. You know what I mean? The nice jeans, everything. But my parents couldn't afford that. You know, so I always had the faded jeans, the hose in the shoes, everything like that. So,
pardon me for interrupting, but you both expressed that was the first part where you kind of felt really bad about yourself, that you weren't able to keep up with the...
Didn't feel like you fit in.
That you fit in with the other kids. But weren't you all from the same economic situation? Like, how did those kids handle that stuff? And you didn't.
I don't know.
You do.
Yeah.
I don't, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe their parents sold drugs or something. I don't know, really, honestly. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But
That's a good question.
Yeah. I mean, but the school that I went to, it was a big school, so they had people from the rich neighborhoods and all these other, you know what I mean? And place where I lived, it was all the gang members, which, you know, they always had money circulating through their unit, you know, so there was always money.
And
so
that money financed clothes for each member of the gang? Is that how that works?
You know, they had to represent their
I'm
gang
an old
well,
57-year-old white guy. No, I don't.
Hey, I'm just letting you know, you know.
Yeah, and I'm saying, like I know what you're talking about.
All right, so go ahead.
No, you know, so I always got picked on and, you know, bullied, which, you know, here lately, the bully thing has just escalated, you know. So I know what it's like, man, so I stand up for these young kids, you know. I know where they've been. So this Taking the City movement, man, this is what we do, you know. We go out there and we reach these young kids. We started out just me and him in Pine Manor, just witnessing to these young kids, the prostitutes, the crack addicts, everybody, you know. It was almost like we was chasing them down the street, you know.
Right.
Really.
I would have loved to have seen that.
I mean, I remember a time.
Yeah.
I remember a time.
Did you start with Teen Challenge? Is that how it got there? Because Teen Challenge is located. By the way, ladies and gentlemen who are listening from around the world, we're talking about different neighborhoods that are in Fort Myers, Florida, Lee County, Florida. So when we refer to different neighborhoods and different schools,
just insert your neighborhood here.
Yeah, exactly. We all have a neighborhood like that. Like I always said, you could drop me anywhere in the United States and I'd find crack within 10 minutes.
Right.
So go ahead. So you started witnessing in a neighborhood that is known for drugs. It's known for prostitution. And then one little nook on 7th Street has this ministry going called Teen Challenge.
We've worked with them too.
Okay.
We've done a lot of outreaches with Teen Challenge. Before I pass it back to Geraldo real quick.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of outreaches with them. I also was a mentor for the guys over there with Kevin Cummings and Jason Justice and all of them, and we've seen God really do a great work over there.
Right. So now you're in Houston, Texas, and you're going to school, and you're not feeling quite the same as the other guys.
Mm-hmm. So we came here for a summer, and I said, Mom, I want to move here. You know, and my mom seen the way that it was, so we all moved here. And
how old are you then?
12. Okay. I moved here when I was 13.
So your mom takes the advice of a 12-year-old and she decides to
No. It was
me.
just, you know, they asked us, how do you like it here? And I said, I want to move there, you know. So we moved here, and come to find out, you know, a week later, you know, the gang members tried to jump me here. You know what I mean? So it was like no
matter
like
where
the
you
trouble
go,
follow me, right?
There you are.
So, you know, it led to trying to fit in, you know, trying to fit in with gang members, trying to fit in with these other people, you know, and going out to parties and trying to get the girls. So you had to do what the cool kids did, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And this was just in my mind, you know.
Did you want to? Did you know it was wrong in your heart and feel that I don't want this, but I got to do it or else they're going to beat the crap out of me? Is that what happens?
Somewhat, yeah.
At first.
Yeah. You know, because I wanted to be accepted.
Sure.
You know?
I get that.
You know?
And then you get the hang of it.
Because what was exception for you, Joy, in your day? And when you were 17, what was exceptions then? What did you need to
17, do? It didn't matter then. When I was 11, it mattered a lot. It was 1968. And the summer of love was coming, and I wanted to be a hippie really, really bad.
Yeah, but exactly. And I was just about to say, acceptance for us was growing our hair, wearing patches on our jeans, and just being a flower child.
Turn on, tune in, drop out.
Absolutely. So it was a lot easier. We didn't get beat the crap out of to be.
No, everybody was.
Everybody was about peace and love. Wow. So I feel for this has got to be the hardest thing for kids coming up that just would fear for their, if they don't do this, they're going to get hurt.
But the parents were just as horrified, you know, and it was drugs. It wasn't like we were just sitting around loving each other.
Right.
You know. There were a lot of drugs.
Okay, so you're here. You're getting in the same. No matter where you go, there you are.
Yeah.
So you hear the same environment. Mm-hmm. What happens to you?
Got in so deep, I became the cool kid. You know, I was
the
one
one
trying to beat up the other kids now. You know, because I got beat up, I wanted to beat the other kids up. You know, not the weaker ones. You know, I went for the big ones, the strong ones.
Yeah.
You know, so.
So what turned your life around? Where was your bottom? What made you say, I'm not doing this anymore? I need a different direction.
I got real deep into pills, weed, marijuana, everything, man. Whatever I can get a hold of. Liquor every day. I drank a pint a day, maybe 2 pints a day. And, you know, I was married, and my wife was wondering where the money was going. And, you know, she started finding bottles in my jackets, bottles under the mattress, you know, bottles in the car under the seat. And I had my kid with me, you know, which was real bad.
Yeah.
I only had one kid at the time, and then I had 2 more, and that's when it really got bad. I was real deep in the drugs, really didn't care where they went, what they did, and how you know what I mean? I never treated them bad, but I treated myself bad in front of them.
And you were neglectful.
Right, exactly, and didn't realize it.
Yeah.
So it was just one night, man, something clicked in me, man. I got real drunk. My wife came to me, and it was some weird story I told her, and she knew it was a lie, so she
We
told
can
me
tell some stories.
She told me she was done, So I hopped in my car, didn't realize there was a little girl's car behind, or a little girl's bike behind my car, and ran over it. Could have been the little girl,
Right.
Okay.
And I sped off to my mother's house, and I knew that she was a Christian, And I said, I can't do this no more. And she said, come with me. I had no shirt, no shoes, nothing on, She took me to her church, and that's where, I surrendered my life.
Amen.
Right there. And I mean, you don't have to go to church to surrender your life. I could have done it right there, but I needed help. I could have done it in my living room,
Yep.
Okay.
Some of the people that we were talking about did it in jail.
Right.
What is so to both of you, whoever wants to do this first? What is Taking the City?
Oh man, it wasn't something that we came up with and said, hey, this is what we want to do, Taking the City. Taking the City was birthed out of what we used to do in Pine Manor. The community manager gave us access to their building, and we started off doing prayer watches at Pine Manor. We would pray in the car, and God, he really just he stirred up this whole vision concerning Taking the City. To make the long story short, the first year we started our first annual bash, we had about 200 people in Bonita Springs, and we just wanted to do it as a vacation Bible school. And God was like, no, I want you guys to keep doing it. In the second year we had 500. Last year we did it, we had a total of 700 kids. So the movement, it grows every year. And not only that, but we tour all over the place, and God has made a mark through the movement. We're involved with the city is backing us up, the mayor.
And how can we get a hold of you?
We're just so blessed.
What if somebody wants to get a hold of you? What can they do?
Jarala, you have all that information, right?
Yeah, I handle all the Facebook and all that. You can hit us up on Facebook. It's Facebook / Taking the City Fam. Hit us up on there. We're on Reverb Nation, Taking the City. Just the internet.
Get on the internet and Google it.
Get on the internet and Google us, man. We'll pop right up.
All right.
You download free music. You can also check out some of Doughboys' music. C's. They're also a big part of the Taking the City movement. You can go on there and download all our music for free. And we just want to see the kids free.
Free music.
We want to see the kids free.
And that's absolutely right. What you say, free music, because it's something that you don't have to dress up for. It's something that you don't have to be somebody else other than just come and listen and get a positive message with all the negativity in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, before G. Rain and Jurila perform live to close us out, we want to remind you that you've been listening to Rated R for Recovery. We can be found at ratedrforrecovery.com. Like us on the Facebook and share us with your friends. You can email us questions at info@ratedrforrecovery.com. Starting every Monday is when you hear the show as it's been recorded, and you can hear it on YouTube, iTunes, Facebook, and once again, thanks to Captain Brian at Captain Brian's Off the Hook Comedy Club on Marco Island. You can hear it at podcastcafelife.com. We also want to thank Studio 7 Cafe and Coffee Company. This is where we broadcast from each and every week. We've got a tremendous show next week. Follow us on Facebook to find out what that show is. So right now, gentlemen, the microphones are right there on the wall, and we're going to do this. And thanks all for coming. And what's the song? Greg, what do you call the song?
Prison Doors. My testimony about
Prison Doors.
Prison Doors, it's called. Ladies and gentlemen, this is G. Rain and Jurila
check.
doing Prison Doors.
Check. Yeah, give me a little bit of volume in the monitors. Check, check, check. We have one of our artists who sings on this song. He's not here.
So I'm going to sing for him.
We're going, yeah, he's my singer right here. So this is my testimony, y'all.
Yeah. Hey, you know, we got to take it to
Studio
the
7 Cafe, Cape Coral, Rated R Recovery. Yeah. Open up the prison door. I wanna do right and live my life on the other side. Lord, open up the prison door. I wanna do right and live my life on the other side. Lord, open up the prison doors. I wanna do right and live my life on the other side. Lord, open up the prison doors. I wanna do right and live my life on the other side. The judge sent me up the road with a fresh fire. Will I make it home safe, still be alive? The CEO said pull up the prison bus, and while we taking roll call, won't no fuss. Sit back cause we headed for a long ride. My heart wreck, ain't no peace on this side. Them crazy thoughts about the pen running through my dome. I miss the fam and I really wanna go home. So real, ain't no fairy tale cartoon. A young chick coming home no time soon. Here we go, riding on the interstate. Hours later, now we pulling in the guard's gate. As soon as we step foot on the compound, the CEO said, come and drop your clothes down. Oh man, Lord, I really can't take it. So much pressure, Lord, I really can't shake it. Lord, open up the prison. Live my life on the other side. Lord, open up the prison doors. I wanna do right and live my life on the other side. Lord, open up the prison doors. I wanna do right and live my life on the other side. Lord, open up the prison doors. I wanna do right and live my life on the other side. Check it. The inmates in the dorm playing dominoes. I'm on the bunk, Lord, I'm stressing with my eyes closed. I should've did right and listened what my mama said. So rebellious in the streets with a hard head. The consequences of my sin, now I'm paying it. The barbed wire brick, Lord, now I'm standing in it. The barbed wire brick walls, now I'm standing in it. Ain't nothing cool about the lifestyle of a heathen. The Lord took my sin, lasted for a season. Now I'm eating with the pigs, Lord, living rock bottom. I'm ready for the change, Lord, I'm tired of the drama. I heard about the hellfires hotter than the summer. I choose life over death, I wanna side. I wanna take to see it's life on the other side. I wave my life flag, I surrender. I give my life to you, I'm a sinner. Yeah, the prison door. I wanna do right and live my life on the other side. Lord, open up the prison door. I wanna do right and live my life on the other side. Lord, open up the prison door. I wanna do right and live my life on the other side. Lord, open up the prison door. I wanna do right and live my life on the other side. Yeah, I live for you, Lord. It's through your mercy and your grace, Lord, that I am who I am today, Lord. Yeah, it's all for you, Jesus Christ. Through my mistakes and through my failures, Lord, your grace has been sufficient in my life, Lord. Hallelujah. And even though I forgot the words to the song, yeah, you're worthy, Lord.